Anyway, that's a conversation for another time. For now, let's talk variation 3 for Kitana and Kung Lao. This is the one that I was thinking of. I picked the wrong one before. Now, upward fan toss is this. You can amplify it, send to. It does give you some projectile gain from full screen. This is obviously mainly used for air control, anti-air, stuff like that. This would be her better projectile from a distance because it's actually a mid and would hit them. So if you're trying to like play the keep away game and they're just crouching everything, it would cost you bar, but you would have the option to give yourself some threatening presence. But a big thing that Phantos has going for it is it's actually really good for giving her extended combos mid-screen. So for example, if you go for like this lift, you can do let's do something basic just to show off. There we go. You can do forward 2 into upward fan and then back 1-4. Let's try it. This isn't optimal damage, so what's the inputs? I think I'm just gonna do the full string just to show. Don't have the muscle memory for any of the timing on this, so bear with me. There you go. Some basic ass stuff like that. My main is Frost. I play all sorts of characters, but Frost is the one that I main right now. Phantos gives her extended damage. It's like an extender for a lot of her combos. It would give her decent full screen control or give her more than she normally has anyway. The ability to extend her launches beyond what they normally get. I believe it works for her crushing blows as well. So if I get this, let me try something like this. Yeah, so you can do something like that, which she normally can't. I used to play Shang Tsung. And then maybe I'm just gonna try forward 2 into something. Imagine I just do the string to end that. There you go. So you'll get like extensions on crushing blows. Like I know she can usually go for like this. I actually imagine she can go for both, which would be cool. Let me try that. I imagine she can go for both. Okay, that will probably work. Stuff like that. So it would give her extensions to combos that are already proven to kind of work. Imagine if she gets optimals, it does increase damage as well, which would be nice. Because she does not do damage, and it would be nice for her to actually have some of it. Outside of course, the unbreakable side of Highborn doing a chunk at a time. But the big thing about this is, again, the flutter. You get to go for this... It's increased mobility, right? It's something that Kitana was normally really good at, was just like mobility, threatening. She really hasn't been that in this game at all. And it's a big problem. So I feel like this variation together with upward fan toss and the fan flutter going back or forward would help her with be a bit more traditional Kitana, right? Because she's going to get enhanced damage on combos. She's going to get better conversions through upward fan toss. But the big thing is she's going to have the mobility that used to make her scary that she hasn't really got anymore. You take into effect as well, her jump 2 is one of the best jumping normals in the game. You can then do that from insanely far distance. Almost like the same thing I said about Cabal, which I think both characters could really benefit from. You can get a full combo with this. Again, I don't even know what the optimals are for her, but they do more than normal than you will see in Fanfare for sure. You don't have the utility of like the chip damage of Highborn or the ability to be safe on block the same way that Highborn is, or the reflect of Fanfare, but you do get better combos than you normally do and much better movement. And this is free movement too, so jump backs can turn in mid-air into jump forwards. Jump forwards can turn into jump backs. Like it's something that gives her, especially in combination with ass. Like you can do jump forward, jump back, ass, right? Like you can be very active, very mobile with this variation. And I think that would really help her out, really. I wish I knew more optimal combos to show you with the upward fan, because they do exist. I don't know them, but I assure you they're out there, and I'm sure just a quick YouTube search would do that for you. But yeah, that could be really cool. And I think this would be a fun variation to play as well. This would make her really... this would make her really fun as well. You know, this would be for players that really thrive on like tricky mix-ups and stuff. You can't do both back-to-back, so you can't do like back and then forward, but... You know, your first jump would kind of be able to dictate that. You know, this is already a character that kind of gets to jump in a lot of situations that most characters can't. This lets her jump even more. You know, it would give her that kind of like scary aspect to her that she's kind of been lacking for a while. God, I wish I knew the optimals, because her damage is not bad at all with this variation either. I'm sure they're out there though. So it's a shame I can't show you them, but I'm sure someone out there can. Kung Lao. I've got Possessed Hat because by my own rules, this was the only ability that was left to put on. It's also, it would be the 3 variations had 3 different hat toss. You had the high hat of Lotus Fist. You have the mid guided hat of Hat Tricks, and this one would have the Possessed Hat. But Spiritual Guidance, this is what I've picked the variation for. Spiritual Guidance would really... So I'll get the crappy bit out of the way first. Possessed Hat. I mean, it's a mid, so cool. It's a bit of a wonky projectile. It says mid, but obviously the hat has to hit them. If it like wobbles over them, it will miss. But that does cover an interesting amount of space. You know, it's only going to whiff from like max distance. But if you're anywhere closer, it's pretty much going to like... The fact that it goes up first and then down means that like anywhere here and closer, it's going to end up going into them, right? It's only going to miss when it goes back up from a distance. So if you throw it from like here or closer, it's effectively just going to be a 7% damage mid projectile. So it looks like a bit of a joke, but it's actually not terrible on paper either. It's also -7 on hit, so you're not getting anything off it. It's literally just a projectile and nothing more. But it would be a wacky projectile to have in combination with Spiritual Guidance, which is the stance that gives him access to the great Kung Lao moves. This gets projectiles. It gets this, which is the Soul Burst, which is a sequence of low projectiles or low tracking moves. You can do it close, you can do it on them, you can do it far, and you can do it very far. You can do a straight version, so you get, you know, full screen. I'll make a stand so you can see the damage. You get a projectile, like a beam attack. It does like no damage, so it really isn't great for that. But the more of these that hit, the more damage it would do, and it always sends to full screen. So you would always have the access to go full screen and then spooky wobbly hat. You can cancel out of it too by, you know, using defensive bar. But a really good thing about this would be the fact that it actually functions as a meterless launcher. So if you go with any standing string, really, and you go for Upward Soul Burst, this is a launcher. It doesn't cost you any resources, it's meterless. And it is an additional launch that is in his kit. So normally, Kung Lao would go like spin, let me just do this. Spin, forward 4, amplified spin, forward 4. So that's 324, right? Now he'll be able to go. So that's an unoptimal version. That's meterless and does marginally less. If I can squeeze out the forward 4, this is harder, and I'm not a Kung Lao player, so bear with me. Might take me a few tries. It does work in certain situations, I think. Oh, hang on, I'm doing it wrong. 4-2-1. And then, there you go. So that's marginally less if you do 4-2-1. If you want to spend the bar additionally, you do get more. Whoops. Oh, no, I think it's EX hat first. Amplified hat first, I think. Yeah. Forward 4. Does this work? No, then 4-2-1. So forward 4 amplified from close range. And forward 2, 1. And then you can do... You're already seeing that I've shit all over the damage I had before. This will be worth it when I get the damage. The problem of not being a Kung Lao player trying to show off Kung Lao damage. This will work. This will work. I'm just going to do it in the corner, because I know it works mid-screen, but it's not going to drop in the corner, and I don't want to be stuck doing this forever. No, forward 4 is still the best ender for setup. And then, yeah, that will work. And then, there you go. So, 370. Forward, yeah, so 4, 1, 2, best Oki. Alright, well, considering it is Foxy telling me that, I'm going to do it quick, just to show it. Oh, I don't want to be stuck doing this for 100 years. It's important to show it, and I apologize that I'm not getting it first try. There you go. So, 37% for our bar, single bar, 370 damage. Good Oki, with a character that does a lot of stuff on Oki. You get, I believe you get a crushing blow with spiritual guidance. Which one is it? After connecting 3 times in a row. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Which one is it? It's just this. Connecting 3 times in a row. Does it have to be far away? Not seeming great. Yeah, that's not really one to mention. I don't really see that working at all. Buzzsaw is something that it's different, but for the sake of this video, this is the one that I have seen the most and I would like to see myself. But that crushing blow isn't so good. The short of it with Kung Lao is, with the great Kung Lao options, you do get, you know, a full screen game that the other ones don't really bring. They're decent damaging projectiles for what they are as well. The spooky wobbly hat kind of adds on top of that, as well as, you know, a difference in combo game as well, right? You don't get the same Oki and pressure options that you get from the other one, but you do get enhanced damage. You get more damage than you get from the other one for like the same effort a lot of the time. You know, you get the option to end and send people full screen if you want. So you get more full screen options, a different projectile, and you also get the option to do a little bit more damage with hit confirms than you would normally, at the cost of pressure that you would normally get from, and good counter pokes from Lotus Fist, and the kind of the Oki and the setup and the chip damage that you get from hat tricks. I think that would work out quite well as a comparison. And that's it for these two characters. Let's move on to the next.